مشاهدينا اليوم معكم علي من Kil Shi Seyese channel, and today we will be talking with two very successful and intelligent men on a very controversial topic. With us today we have Mohammed Ahmed, a graduate from UAE's top university and a very dedicated member of parliament. We also have Mana Ibrahim Yassin, a political science professor from the University of Saudi. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you for having us, Akhi.
شكرا جزيلا. تشرفنا. مشاهدينا اليوم, the topic we will be discussing is a conversation the West has been struggling with for a while. Protests all over the world have been occurring and no one knows whether it's for the best or not. How this issue has leaked into the Arab world is beyond me, but we find traces of it within our Arab films and shows today. Gentlemen, with the recent nomination of Nadine Labaki's Capernaum for an Oscar, we will be discussing the topic of feminism tonight, but more specifically, agency of the woman in the Arab cinema.
Hello.
Agency of Arab women in cinema. Well, this is seriously a problem. Women are forgetting their place in society, which is the household and nothing more, to be honest.
Yeah.
Much like films like Ihkiya, Shahrazad, these women are tainting the God-given role that women are supposed to play. Their place in the household is very important. I think they're just asking for too much when they are trying to gain more from society, and it's just too much already.
I agree. شوفوا عنا الحريم في السعودية ما يستاهلوا human rights بس قاعدين في البيت. It's better they don't have a platform or agency because they will just automatically misuse it and cause trouble for their families. شوفوا هذه اللي في إحكي شهرزاد. She compromised her husband's career and livelihood. For what? عشان تدخل على التلفزيون تتكلم عن الرجال. You know, he humored her and he gave her dumb ideas a voice, made her think she was actually important, and that made her feel more important than she already is, and she doesn't deserve that.
والله القلوب عن بعضها يا زلمة, بس انت كده فكر نفس الشيء.
Perfect. I mean, فكروا بيها. المرأة دورها بالدنيا is what? To give birth, raise the kids, you know, keep the household in order. It's funny that you bring up Nadine Labaki actually, because she produced a movie by the title Where Do We Go Now? And I couldn't believe what I was watching. These women had unlimited platform, sir, and a voice, and these women were allowed to have and use in the village, you know what I mean? And, you know, a real village is run by, you know, the Rijal. Because the women were meddling in these political issues and running the village and whatnot, it made the problems that were already there worse, and that ended up making the issues worse. Had they stuck to just being quiet and following the rules and following traditional roles of genders, these issues wouldn't have escalated.
Wallahi, so true. I'm honestly baffled.
Thank you.
By the way, the movie directors have been representing these women in their films because no woman has that much importance in their own life, let alone in these films. Yani, come on, man.
Hello. This is a great start to discussion, gentlemen. Can you guys expand on any examples given from any specific movies?
Well, I'll go ahead and start. Galga Ali, one filmmaker that enjoys to make social commentary as much as he does political commentary is Yusuf Shaheen. As you know, he's an Egyptian director.
Yes.
In a series of autobiographies, one movie that stands out here is Alexandria Now Forever.
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yes. In this movie, he lets go of one actor only to find a spark in another actor, and no surprise at all, considering his political views, the next inspiration is a woman. Now, the way in which the actress slowly takes up his interest is shown through the camera angles, the camera movements, and the sudden gravitation towards her facial expressions by the cameraman, which is quite unnecessary in my opinion. The cameraman focuses on her ideas, on her expression, and in my honest opinion, that's just unnecessary. The character herself lacks anything useful in her, and everything in her head, like there's nothing. He had ضايعة. The director also finds interest in her little actions, and what I find most unsettling is the fact that they portray the character Yusra, her character, as someone that takes too much space. She's very loud, has very loud opinions, and I feel had he really stuck to traditions, he would have made that role be played by a woman. or sorry, a man shouldn't be played by a woman.
That's true, that's true.
Right? And what was even more shocking is by the end of this movie, she had a much bigger platform, if not equal to the main character Yahya, which is just completely irrational.
Yeah.
Who would do that? Who would give a woman that much platform? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Habibi, I hear you. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, I think feminism and these feminists are getting out of hand. Like, please, we all know you don't care. Sister, stop with this liberal hebel. I'm talking about sister from the movie بحكي يا شهرزاد. When I say this, astaghfirullah azim, I was so upset when she put her husband's career in jeopardy. Like, how selfish can you really be? And Hadika Tanya, the criminal that murdered that innocent man for no reason, she wants to claim he was playing her and her sisters. Weren't they the ones that started with the games to begin with? All looking at him like, hey, shit, that lahan. Like, she murdered him in jealousy that he didn't focus on her. Like, shuhad.
That's true.
Well said, إبراهيم. مشاهدينا الكرام، فاصل ونواصل، ضلكم معنا.
كأم، قلب المنزل هو المطبخ، ومن المهم تعليم ابنتي استخدام زيت القلي المناسب. زيت كورولي يمتلك شكل جديد، ولكنه ما زال يقدم الجودة الموثوقة التي طالما اعتمدنا عليها في كل جيل. إنه الخيار الطبيعي الأكثر صحة لعائلتنا. كورولي كسب القلوب لأجيال.
أهلا بمشاهدينا، رجعنا على كل شي سياسي مع محمد وإبراهيم. خلونا نكمل. إبراهيم, you made some bold points before our break. You were just explaining how you think that women in those films were not justified in their actions and were in the wrong for standing up for themselves. How do you feel personally justified to make such big claims about the complexity of these women's lives? And more importantly, is there nothing more you can say aside from the fact that women have abandoned their quote-unquote traditional roles?
شوفي, there is no complexity يا حلوة. The film Where Do We Go Now is directed by a female, and she obviously designed the roles to portray women in a certain light and men as brainless idiots ready to start a fight at any point on any stupid thing. My opinion.
I mean, Latin Levicki was clearly biased and deranged.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because you are being very hypocritical. Ihya Shahrazad's director was Yusuf Sallah, a male. Yet he was still able to capture the female role justly without prejudice like you're doing. So your point is invalid. Because he made a film to show the double standards placed on women. When Shahrazad spoke about anything, it became political simply because it was a woman voicing her opinion on her oppression.
يا حرمة, احترمي نفسك. Are you calling me a hypocrite?
طبعا I am. Are you on Jed? Have you seen yourself?
Wrong.
You're self-centered, obnoxious, and frankly straight up ignorant. Yes, women did trick the men to get them to act the way they wanted, but the way they wanted was for them to simply live in harmony with no unnecessary violence that came from their culture of toxic masculinity needing to protect their pride with senseless problematic actions.
How do you have the audacity to sit here and offend me? I am your guest and I am entitled to my own opinions. You can't sit there and claim women have had it harder in society.
Do you hear yourself, you misogynistic?
Yes.
يا مرة ما يصير تمد ايدك، انت قاعدين.
وحده تانج يجمع كل العيلة بخفة طعمه مرة خفيف. حتحب تزيد تاني. في حاجات ما يصير تتغير. تانج خفيف ومنعش ومعاه الغدا أحلى.
testing. Sorry مشاهدينا, it seems like we lost the signal. رح نرجع نكمل هلا.
So let's logically and calmly, like adults, dissect the issue here. So we have one side that still believes in the traditional roles of genders, but specifically the supremacy of one over the other. Am I right?
صح. You're exactly right. Women are not fit for society, and that's that.
But then we have the side that believes in equality and finds the depiction of the women in these movies to not only be admirable, but it also unveils the reality of the lives that women lead to this day.
That's true, but what exactly is the point you're trying to make here? How is simplifying the opposing sides going to make any of this better?
Angela, just get to the point, Mara.
My point is simply that you, Ibrahim, are still too caught up in past socially constructed gender binaries here, when clearly gender has become more than what it was before, now more than ever. These movies are tackling that specific mindset of yours, and rather than, threatening the man's place, they are trying to uplift and elevate the woman's so that it's on equal planes.
The idea isn't to take a man's place in society or push them out, but rather to have more space and equal opportunity for women as well. As a woman, personally, it is difficult to listen to your bullshit without getting mad, and it's hard to stay composed listening to your bullshit while you belittle and dismiss my hardships. Women are not trying to take your place, period.
Bella, fine. Let's listen to what you have to say. Yalla, tfaddali, convince me.
Because of films like Where Do We Go Now by Nadine Labake, the conversation about feminism and the equality of genders has become more prevalent through the media now more than ever. To see it any other different way would be to misinterpret the initial goal and the intent of elevating and empowering women in these stories.
Yes, and because of films like Alexandria Now Forever by Yusuf Shaheen, we see women get analyzed from both the patriarchal perspective that you're coming from, as well as the feminist perspective. On this side here, the exploration of both characters, Yahya and Yusra, is evidence to both the patriarchy that still has massive control to this day, specifically of the Arab world, and it uses feminist ideals to confront and bring forth the holes in the patriarchy's mindset.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. So you're saying that women in the past have played submissive roles despite being portrayed as having more empowered personalities.
Exactly.
So I guess I get the problem now.
Bravo, Alec. You're getting there. Slowly, but you're getting there. And that's what we've been trying to get through you to this entire time. To show the importance of representation of women, specifically in Arab film and cinema, further than playing the submissive roles of a wife or the unlikable, bossy, independent woman. Women have just as much right as men to take up space in society on all levels. The topic of female agency should not be a threat per se, but rather an expansion of a better and more efficient community, for sure.
Okay, so you're saying women shouldn't be belittled, but should be portrayed as survivors and as strong-willed characters who are tough with opinions that matter, because their agency is just as important and equal as that of men.
100%.
Okay.
Bravo عليك يا إبراهيم. Proud of you. And with that, حبيبات المشاهدين, we wrap up tonight's حلقة of كل شي سياسة. Thank you for joining us ونشكركم على المتابعة معنا. وتصبحوا على خير يا أهل الخير.